Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm like looking at your hair. I've been watching you, you know, and I know you've got the full curls going on. It looks it's so pretty. I've been watching you sort of, you know, play around with it and do some things at home, like me, colored my own hair the other night. I'm just like, oh my God, it's so dark.
No, you did a good job. I'm gonna do that tonight.
You're doing it tonight, yeah.
Yeah.
Susan, I just started by saying that hasn't it been like, it's been more than 10 years, hasn't it? I mean, it has to have been 10 years since I first met you.
We were talking about this last time we saw each other, right? How long it's been? It's
at least
definitely at least 10 years.
Yeah,
at least.
Because I was working with you on another skincare project, and what I was saying to everybody is that, you know, when if I'm out looking for another product, Susan's a person I'm going to go and watch and just see how you feel about certain things, because you're so versed in so much. So would you mind, for my audience, just sort of giving us a little background on you, you know, what you've been doing all these years?
Yeah, so I started off in broadcast journalism, and what kind of like, to fast forward it, what brought me into skincare and beauty and everything was that I became a beauty editor. Yeah. And so I was working in publications and stuff. And when you start to work in publications, especially back when I started, I feel like you start to get access to people like you who are the true experts in the industry, but you get to hear all these different opinions and the way things are working and learn about, you know, all the products and what goes into making the products and everything. And I feel like that kind of helped me get to where I am now. And, you know, I feel like I'm just a very, very educated journalist, truly, at the end of the day, but one that has access to, you know, people like you, and I can always get the answers.
Yes, it's so great. I mean, there's so much out there. It's so confusing for people. I mean, tell me, like what's your routine? Like, what have you been using, and what are you having fun with right now? Because I know you've tried so many different things.
You know what's been amazing to see is the amount of vitamin C serums that have hit the market lately, right? Yeah, I've been testing out a few vitamin C serums. One brand that I've been telling people about, I actually made a little pile right here of stuff I've been using. I've been using this by Ole Henriksen. It's their Banana Bright Vitamin C Serum. This is actually, though, not a true vitamin C serum. It's more of like first off, it's a derivative of vitamin C. So it's a little bit different, but it has a lot of other ingredients in it. I'm wearing it right now. I'm really glowy right now.
Yeah,
I realize this. I was trying to tone it down for this. I was trying some other stuff because they have this too. It gives you a glow. And then I used a new highlighter. I used this one from Ilia, and I hadn't used it before, so it gave me this like.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's really, you know, vitamin C's are so tricky. Like, I feel like people think that, you know, the higher percentage of vitamin C, like always higher is better. And I just, you know, I'm always saying to people, I mean, of course it's about a formula, and that a formula all works together. But I mean, it's nice to hear you saying, and I mean, Ole Henriksen, I mean, he was an Esty from, you know, he's been an Esty forever. I mean, you know, he certainly knows skin too. And it's so nice when people, you know, are developing product, that they really have a background, you know. I mean, that all of us that have been in the business for so long, that we know about ingredients and things too. So, but I always think that, you know, it's vitamin C is really, you know, sort of really tricky for a lot of people, because, you know, there is the, you know, a lot of people do react to vitamin C's, and a lot of people think that higher percentages is always better, and it's not that way. So it's nice that, you know, his is buffered and it's put in with some other amazing stuff too, that, you know, that's not as irritating. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's really great. Well, that's good to know. So you've been playing with vitamin C's, and that's great coming into the summer months too, you know?
Yes. What's I love my vitamin C's. Another brand that I've been using, it's called Naturium. I was using it for like a month, and I thought it was a really expensive brand. I thought it was going to be a very expensive brand, and then I started looking at the prices, and I was like, this is a very affordable brand, and the formulations are really nice.
Really?
So it's been, my favorite product's been this one. It's their niacinamide with zinc.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, the niacinamise too. Oh, and the zinc is fantastic. I mean, you know, sort of really soothing, calming, healing, does all those fun things. So so you've been you're getting ready for summer then, that, you know, dosing up with that vitamin C to help protect you from the sun, which is so awesome. What about what other things have you been sort of playing with? Is there anything that you're sort of finding you know, really interesting that's coming out, that, you know, in all the different things that you've been working with? Because I know your skin, you know, your skin's kind of sensitive, so I know if you can use it, you know, and use it well. I mean, you know so much about, you know, product and obviously, and just what's working. And so what else are you having fun with? Share with us.
Well, okay, wait. So I have been telling people about this by Paula's Choice. What do you think about Paula's Choice?
Really reasonable. Yeah. They're so reasonably priced, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. I like Paula's Choice, and this is their Omega Plus Complex Serum. So it's a little lighter than the actual moisturizer. Oh, and I like this because it's a nice balance of the linoleic acid and oleic acid.
Oh, yeah.
And the nice. Other fatty acids. It's really nice.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's nice. And lighter for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Lighter
exactly.
For the months.
And then I've been kind of going back, you know, lately I've been all about the cleansing balms. I feel like they're easier to use.
Yes, yes.
But I recently dug into like the older cleansing oils and balms I've been using, and I got this one from Caudalie.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And I hadn't used it for so long, but I just pulled it back out, and I remember loving this stuff. And now I'm kind of like on this cleansing oil kick where I want to go back to the oils.
Oh, yeah. It's
sometimes so I've been using that.
Isn't it? It's nice to have, you know, a variety of them. I actually have one that I just started using again, just, you know, working with cleansers and really working with cleansers, because it's such a huge topic for me, being 50% of the skincare regimen. And people are asking me all the time, because sometimes people can't get certain products when they're in certain countries. But I started playing with Jordan Samuel's again, his Matinee, and it's a really nice jelly type cleanser, and it's got, you know, the aloe vera, the cucumber. I really like, you know, I like something that's got some body to it, you know, and that you feel like, you know, your skin's clean. And of course the balms and of course I'm not a foaming cleanser person. I know you're not. And
you've instilled that in my head. It's really hard for me to use a foaming cleanser, because I always hear Nerida Joy in the back of my mind saying, I don't know about this cleanser.
It's the biggest thing, you know, when people come in to see me and they have issues with their skin, it's 9 times out of 10, it is because of their cleansing. It's their cleanser is wrong. And it doesn't matter if you've got a $500 cream or serum to put on after that. It's just if you're using the wrong cleanser, everything's just not gonna, it's just not gonna work. It just sets up that dry, squeaky, clean slate. I'm like, please, guys.
Squeaky clean, no.
Just
wait, Nerida. Yeah. Is it a secret that you might have
something coming out?
Something coming?
I do, actually. I've been working on a few items for probably about 1.5 years. I mean, I've been talking about it for longer, but you know, I mean, I was just, you know, when I did a live with Jordan Samuel last week, and we talk about cleansing so much. And as you know, I'm always talking about it, and I can't tell you the amount of emails and questions I get about cleansers and about skin issues. And every time I zoom in and I look at these pictures, I'm just like, guys, you're not cleansing properly. And you can see the, you know, the acid man, you can see the outer layer is just so stripped. And therefore, you know, it's really hard for the skin to work properly. It's hard for the skin to heal. It's, you know, the skin gets congested when you've got that raincoat on top because you've stripped it, and it's dry and squeaky clean. So the cleansing thing has been a huge passion for me, and to try and find something that works really well, that's, you know, that cleans the skin really well, but also, you know, is soothing and calming and doesn't set up any irritated slate. So yeah, I've actually finished the formula. It's going to be coming out soon.
I have been waiting for this and waiting for this.
And deliver it to you. I know it's pretty fantastic. Yeah, I'm really, really excited. It's really, you know, whenever I've been asked to work with products and help other companies develop products, um, you know, the cleanser is always the one I keep sending back saying, nope, nope, nope. You know, the other ones, the serums and that are so much easier, but the cleansers, to get a really good cleanser is so difficult. So
Yep.
I'm really excited.
So is your line called Nerida Joy?
It has my name in it,
But
but
it's different. Oh,
and
so
I
this is
don't
still
know,
secret.
my team will scream at me probably if I say it, what it is called yet. But it, you know, I have these power words. I have power words that actually you know, I found them, or not really found them, but I realized what my power words were when somebody said to me, you know, who are you? Like, tell me in 5 words who you are. And I was like, who am I? What are you like? Oh my gosh. Okay, well, let me think about this, you know. And so I started thinking about what was really important to me. You know, like the older I get in my industry, I feel ultimately, you know, Susan, I realized, you know, when I was 11 years old, I was saying, I really just want to help people. And I didn't know what that even meant then. And my sister was saying, you've always said, I just want to help people. And I think that, you know, my work, my hands-on work has been very much just, you know, I always say this in metaphysical laws, you know, of non-infringement, non-judgment. It's been a way for me to help people. You know, when people come see me, I'm not infringing, I'm not judged. It's just like, oh, great, I can help them now, you know? So I feel that, you know, as doing this for 42 years, which I've been, you know, an Esty for that long, I feel that it's just becoming more and more important to me to really, you know, help people understand the unique beauty that they are, and to know that they're enough, being just who they are, and to really, you know, help, and particularly women, you know, to really help women just understand that, you know, they are enough, they're beautiful, they, you know, that it's all within them, you know. So I think as I sort of move on in my life and my work, I realize that, you know, the important things are really, you know, even more so is just uplifting and letting people, you know in whatever way I can do that, and in ways that I will be moving forward with my product too. So let's just say my power words and affirmations that I strongly believe in because of how they've helped me in my life, that they will they are a big play in my moves moving forward. Yeah, I know.
I'm glad. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I mean, I've never told anybody this. I mean, I've never said this before. Nobody.
Oh, I'm getting the
knows.
script. See, this is the journalist in me. I have to ask the questions.
I know, but nobody knows. I mean, I you know, that what I'm doing with you know, with product. And I also, you know, Susan, I mean, and you've worked with so many products, and you're such a wealth of knowledge with this, but I think that, you know, sometimes people think that they have to have so much.
Yeah.
And yet, you know, it's helping people understand that, you know, everything you put on your skin, it has to have a purpose for you.
Yes.
Right? That you don't just use something because it's strong, and you don't just use something because it's, you know, you've read about it in a magazine, you know, that it's something that, and I say read about in a magazine, I mean, of course, if you're reading about it, usually
saw it on Instagram,
it's because it's
just
good,
because
right?
You saw it on Instagram.
Yeah. But, you know, follow Susan Yara if you want real info on true products, guys. Because I know you know, you work with a lot, and you play with a lot, and you know, you've got people around you that are super sensitive, and, you know, all of the above to really sort of explore that. So I think, you know, it's definitely, you know, I'm not a chemist. I'm just someone who really knows, and the skin really speaks to me. You know, like I just know when I put things on my hand. I mean, the people at Guthrie Renke used to always say to me, you know, they'd give me a bunch of stuff, and they'd say, I love that you can tell us everything within a week about a product, which takes them 6 months, you know, to send off and do all this stuff, but I can just tell when I work with it, and I feel it. I can tell where it's going in the skin, if it's really, you know, what levels it's going to, how it's going to protect, if it's going to be irritating. I mean, that's one of the great things when you work with product all the time, you know, is just, and skin, and just being able to know, you know, what's being absorbed, what's sitting on the surface, what's irritating, what's not, you know, and just working with seasons and working with people's skin, because everybody's so different, and we've got, you know, so many different, you know, issues internally. I mean, a lot of people now have so much inflammation. So has there been any products or, you know, ingredients in particular that you're sensitive to, that you found yourself, that you're sort of, that really irritates you?
Well, you know what's funny is I gave up a long time ago on trying to use prescription retinoids, tretinoin specifically, because and you know, there's a part of me that's like, maybe I'll go back to it and do it again or something and just take my time with it and stuff. But truly what happens is the minute I get to a 1% retinol over the counter, obviously, I start to realize my skin gets irritated because I don't have that patience. And I think it's about knowing who you are as a person as well as your skin, how it handles stuff, because I know I don't have the patience to do a prescription retinoid. So if I know a retinol can get too strong for me and I don't have the patience for that, I for sure can't do it with tretinoin, you know, and that can actually just end up ruining your skin barrier and giving you sensitive skin and causing you to look terrible because you're flaking and you're red. And you know, I think people need to realize they don't need to do something if it's not working for them, especially if it doesn't work for, I think they're not taking into account two things. You know, it's like, yes, how your skin tolerates stuff, but also your lifestyle. You know, those two things come into play.
Very much so, because it's, you know, obviously it makes the skin super photosensitive. And I mean, you know, again, you've heard me talk about this many times, but I believe in, you know, everything in moderation and consistency of that. I think that's really important. And I think the one thing that happens is that people, if they could just stop trying to get here without climbing it, you know, and they start too young, you know, they're starting in their 20s and 30s, they're wanting to put strong stuff on their skin, and it just doesn't work like that. I mean, you know, it just creates a super sensitive skin. And by the way, it really thins the skin. You know, I was giving an example the other day, but I mean, retinols are my favorite. Retinols and AHAs, I mean, lactic acid in particular, is, you know, they're amazing actives. And if you want to change your skin, you need to get to the fibroblast cells, and you need retinols and you need AHAs.
Right.
But the difference is, if, you know, obviously both of those that I mentioned, they make the skin very photosensitive. And living in California, where we have so much sun, and, you know, and the sun is getting stronger. I mean, it truly is getting stronger, that you have to be so careful and explaining to people that, you know, using sunblocks and, you know, your zinc, your titanium, your iron oxides, and all of these things in your physical blocks is so important. But it's not just putting it on one layer. It's like, you know, 2 or 3 layers on your skin before you even step out of the house. And by the way, you better have a retractable brush, you know, a La Belladonna mineral, you know, 50 SPF in your
or a
you better have it. You better have it in your bag when you step out of the door, to be able to dust that on your face, you know, because you need to have access to stuff like that. So, you know, can you make your skin better with retinols and AHAs? Absolutely. I mean, without doubt, it changed my skin. My skin is better now than it was 10 years ago. Yeah. And it's better because I do use retinols and I do use AHAs, but you know, it's definitely over the counter. Yeah. And it's the consistency of it. You know, it doesn't, if you irritate the skin and it gets red and dry and flaky, which I know everybody wants their skin to peel crazy because they feel like, you know, it's the best way to go. It's sort of, you know, you've then got to jump back and you've got to get back to basic. It puts you back to, let's start, you know, go to jail, okay? Like, go to jail and you've got to start again, right? I mean, it's really, it's that important, is the consistency of everything, you know,
Yeah.
whether it be foods, everything. I mean,
Yep.
it's a consistency of it that makes a difference with the skin long term. And I think that's something that's really important that people need to understand, and just know that, you know, you go up here too quickly, then you're going to mess it all up, and you're going to damage blood vessels. And by the way, you know, retinols and vitamin A, it is absorbed into the bloodstream. You know, I mean, there is a reason why it is a prescription.
Well, the prescription, yeah. Well, you know, I guess, you know, I don't know exactly how it works as far as your bloodstream and all that kind of stuff. But I think the thing that people need to understand about the way certain retinoids work, right, is that they're definitely thinning the top layer of your skin, thickening the bottom layer of your skin, but at the same time
tightening it, making it very tight underneath. Yes.
Yeah, but you have to go at the right rate of that, right? Because if you're exposing too much of your top layer of skin and thinning too much of the top layer of your skin too quickly, and then not doing the protection that you're talking about with all the different layers of sunscreen and, you know, adding antioxidants and all of that kind of stuff, then you're potentially causing damage. So it's that balance. You know, balance is always the key word.
No, balance is such an important word here, because I mean, I'm such a huge fan, and it does what it does to your collagen elastin fibers in stimulating them and strengthening them underneath is absolutely life-changing. I mean, I love retinols, and I like you know, a multiple array of the vitamin A groupings, because as you know, I think it's important, even with alpha hydroxy acids, you know, if you can work with a couple of different ones, the added bonus to that is that every, you know, whether you're working with vitamin A1, 2, acetate, palmitate, whatever they are, they're all different molecular size and weight, and they work on different levels in the skin. And if you can build a strong foundation and work on different levels in the skin, then you are going to have a better skin. Like, your skin is not going to be jarring as quickly. And it's the same with your alpha hydroxy acid. You know, if you can work with glycolic, lactic, you know, even citric, malic, any of the, you know, they're all different molecular weight and size. And I think it's so great that we can, that we have such an array to, you know, to be able to choose from, to work with, and to find things that, you know, just don't irritate the surface too much. Because then you've got to go back to, you know, square one. Starting right back there. Some of the other things that, you know, I want to ask you a couple of things, you know, and of course, sort of just adding to that, you know, once you've got and I'll say strip, but it's not really stripped. Once you've got a vulnerable slate, you know, you've cleansed your skin beautifully. You haven't set up that dry, squeaky clean slate. Like, you know, vitamin C, you talk about as being so, especially, you know, it's such a great antioxidant. Is there any other serums that you love, maybe for nighttime, PM?
Yeah, I mean, so I showed you that Naturium Niacinamide Serum.
Yep.
I have always liked niacinamide. I actually think that 2020 is the year of niacinamide, because we were talking about niacinamide, you know, a long time ago, and it wasn't really popular, and it's actually secretly in a lot of different products, you know. But I don't think people realized the effect that the positive effect they were getting from niacinamide. So I have definitely incorporated a niacinamide into my skincare routine regularly now, and I use it morning and night, actually.
Oh, that's fantastic. So see, what's great is your layering. Layering is so important, like layering on your serums. And what about, like, what are some of your favorite sort of moisturizers? Do you have some that, you know, that you love, that, you know, either retinol, alpha hydroxy acid, or none of the, you know, above? I mean, like, just, I mean, is there something like really, you know, that you, I know you've got a lot.
Well, so for the AHAs, I tend to focus more on the AHAs. Every time I use BHAs, I don't have a lot of clogged pores, and I credit that to oil cleansing, truly. But you know, if I had clogged pores, I would be looking more for a blend of AHAs and BHAs. So the one that I always go back to is by Ren, and it's their Ready Steady Glow, or Ready Steady. Yeah, it's a Ready Steady Glow Tonic. That's what it is. And it has a blend of AHAs, and it has willow bark, which is I guess, you know, when you break it down, it's a BHA. Yeah,
Yes.
me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
really
So
like
it's just,
that.
you know, it goes through that extra step to turn into salicylic acid on your skin, you know?
Yeah.
So I love that blend. It has azelaic acid, which tends to be one of
Oh,
my favorite acids.
the
And
sensitive skin, fantastic.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
So
it's so great because acids are so great. I mean, they really, you know, strengthen the skin. I mean, oh my gosh, I could just, you know, I mean, if the idea of not having acids, or let's just even say acids out there in the world, I mean, knowing what they do for the skin, like, it would be devastating for me, because it's such a huge part of, you know, what I'm giving my clients, as well as, you know, what I use myself.
yeah, definitely. I think acids sometimes get a little bit of a bad rap because they I think people think of like acids from back in the day, like salicylic acid in your Clean and Clear or something, and you know, like being a teenager and trying to get rid of pimples and stuff. But I feel like a lot of the AHA and the BHA products out there have really come a long way, and they really take into account formulation and sensitivity of people's skin and stuff. I think there are really great options now.
Yeah. You know, the one thing that I would say to people that, you know, with clients that come in to see me, or, you know, in this case now, you know, consultations, virtual consultations, the one thing where people go wrong with acids is if they go too strong.
Yeah.
It's just if they go, they're trying to get something that we do in our practice, a dermatologist does in there. And then if they go too strong with their acids, they mess it up. They cause, you know, chemical burning and even, you know, some of the peels. I mean, all of these things that, you know, it's a consistency, guys, consistency, using it regularly. Don't make your skin red and irritated. You don't have to leave it on a long time. You know, even if it says on the tube or the bottle, you know, leave it on 10 minutes. It's like, you don't have to do that. It still works. And you know what else? Even if you're not feeling tingling on the skin, it is still working. You don't have to feel pain. You know, it's not that
you know,
way.
yeah, like it's no pain, no gain is not the right saying for skincare at all. And I think people don't have patience, you know. It took a while for me to even get my skin this clear, you know. You've known me, like we said, for a decade. I definitely have not always had clear skin. And I've even had times, remember after my first baby, my skin just got so loose and saggy. And I went to you and I was like, Nerida, my skin is not the same.
What about melasma and, you know, blotchy hyperpigment? Like, what are some of your favorite products out there that you've found to be lightening, brightening, you know, easy, not, you know, great?
Well, so some of the products, the vitamin C, the niacinamide, the AHAs, those are the ingredients I've been including in my skincare routine. And you know, there comes a point, like with my skin, I obviously have foundation and concealer on, so you can't tell right now, but I got a decent amount of hyperpigmentation and melasma while I was pregnant, and it only built up even more during my second pregnancy. So now that I'm kind of out of it, I do think that there come times where you have to go see a professional to get maybe a chemical peel done or some kind of I am always hesitant to recommend a laser treatment because they can be really tricky. You have to see the right person who really understands the pigment in your skin. But I feel like you do have to have a combination of including these brightening ingredients and doing some in-office treatments too to really get rid of it. Otherwise, it's just gonna, you know, melasma especially is so difficult to deal with because you get rid of a little bit, but then it comes back stronger, you know, because you just, you know, not even hung out in the sun. Maybe you just got hot because it's getting hot now. And, you know, you get this explosion. I mean, and hormones are so hard.
Computer screen.
Exactly. So many women are like, you know, when they're pregnant, they're like, what do you do for melasma? And I'm kind of like, nothing. Your hormones are going crazy right now. There's almost nothing you can do.
I mean, isn't it? It's so funny. It's like people, you know, when they're pregnant and that, you know, they come to me too saying, you know, I've got really bad melasma. And it's all I say to them, please just make sure you're using your sunscreen. Like, there's nothing you can do right now. Don't even try, you know, don't sort of, you know, fall into the trap of trying to, I mean, you know, you can't do that. You've just got to let it be and just use really good sunscreen. I think that, you know, people are still not as good as they need to be with their sunscreens. They don't.
No, 100%. I think it's only starting to become a thing. I have this one right here. I think this Dermalogica is really great for all skin types if you're looking for a physical sunscreen. It's a little overpriced in my opinion, but it does a great job.
Yeah, I think that, you know, if you have melasma, you've got to go back and layer extra on that. And I think, you know, because there are a lot of, you know, skincare day moisturizers that have sunscreen in it. There's a lot of makeup that has sunscreens in it. You know, it's not enough just to use a day cream with a moisturizer.
Yeah, I
Because,
agree.
I mean, how can you weigh in sort of how much are you putting on your face? I mean,
Yeah.
what is that SPF really?
Well, a lot of people ask
not enough.
how much are you supposed to wear. So I always say, I'm
Mhm.
going to try to, you have to use a good amount. That's what I would put on my face and my neck. And it might maybe travel to like the top of my chest. And then you guys today, so I'm wearing this. And then I have this on, which happens to be SPF 40.
Yeah, fantastic.
And it's also giving me that extra shine on my face.
Yeah.
But then I have stuff like this. These are on my desk almost all the time. This is, you know, a spray, and this is a spray. This one's a little bit more, it has, they both have alcohol because they're setting sprays. And I know a lot of people don't like that, but these, the reason why it has alcohol is because they are sprays. And so it kind of evaporates off the skin and it helps it feel a little bit lighter. But I reapply all day long.
Yeah, well, I see that. Yeah, fantastic. I mean, and like it's that important. I mean, you have to. So, you know, for people that have melasma out there, look at you. They'd be like, oh my arms, let's just go to town. Yeah, so, you know, but for people that have melasma, I mean, it requires that you have to put it on all the time. I mean, not even just melasma, and just freckles. And I mean, you know, if you want to even with, you know, putting on an SPF 70, okay, I mean, I just say above a 40, just reapply it several times is fantastic. But you've just got to keep, you know, you've got to really layer, you've got to keep it on, because it's still not 100%. You know, you're still going to get a little sun through, and especially on the décolleté. I mean, the décolleté gets such, the neck and the décolleté get such a big
I know. My neck,
driving.
that is where I am noticing my age. People say that's where you show your age, that in your hands, but I will tell you, it is starting to hit me hard. The treatments that I am focusing on when I go see, you know, when I go see my doctors, they are for that neck area right in here.
I know it's a really tough area. I have a lot of my clients wearing those scarves, you know, that the wraparound scarves that have the SPF in it, the clothing. And I'm zipping up, and I mean, my new mask that I'll be wearing forevermore is, you know, completely down, covering the neck and everything. Is something that I think it's a really important area, and it's an area that is just not thought about a whole bunch, you know, because a lot of people, they're just into this and not really focusing on here. And this area is so hard to, I mean, I always say you can lift and tuck and peel and do all this stuff to the face. It doesn't work the same on the chest and the neck.
Yeah, I agree. Someone was asking how often you have to reapply sunscreen. I say every 2 hours or so. And then someone else was asking if sunscreen clogs the pores, and I think it does for the most part, which is why it's really important to cleanse your skin at night.
Yeah, it is. And it's, I mean, you know, there are some sunscreens that, you know, I'm always recommending the non-comedogenic ones anyway, but, you know, the ones that are high in zinc, I think your titaniums, I think your physical blocks are really great. And I think the physical blocks are great because they're also really healing. I mean, I love mineral makeup. Okay, I've used it forever. I'm a huge fan, and I wear it all the time, and I love it because, you know what, even the days when I was going to the gym straight from work, I could go with my makeup on and know that it's not clogging my pores. You know what I mean? And the thing about mineral makeup, especially with people that tend to be oily or combination oily, that it's so healing. Like I always say, it's an extension from our facial. And you know, and I'm always referring people to get mineral makeup. And you know, I love La Belladonna. I love that.
You've loved that line for a very long time.
A really long time. And I think it's, you know, it's just such a, it's a great line. But, you know, there's minerals and there's minerals. Okay, they're a really good mineral. But I think that I think that's really good. Now, I wanted to ask you, there are some things out there that I know really bug you that are being said in the world of beauty. Tell me the things that you just like, I wish people had stopped doing.
I wish people would stop with, I think people don't understand oils. different oils. And I've been thinking about, you know, I've had a lot of time to think during self-quarantine. Yeah. And I feel like I want to educate people more on the oils they can use for their skin. Linoleic acid for people with oily skin or acneic skin, oleic acid for people that have dry skin, the well-balanced oils, how to, you know, cleanse with oil, how to find the right moisturizers that have the oils in them and are not just those pure oils. I cannot stand that people use, you know, pure oils all the time. And I hear people tell me that they're using, you know, just drops and drops of oil all over their face, and they have oil just dripping all over the place, you know, and they don't use a moisturizer. They don't use a serum because they have the oils that have all the ingredients they need. And there's a place for oil. And I think it's very misunderstood right now.
Yeah,
because
I
marketing.
think the same. You know, I think that I'm not generally an oil fan as much, because most people I deal with a lot of acneic skins, and people come to me with using a stripping cleanser, foaming cleanser, and then their skin is so dry they'll go put coconut oil on their face. And to me, it's just like, oh my God, you know, like, we need to have a conversation right now. And it's something that I need people to understand. You can't strip the skin and make it so squeaky clean, dry. No oil can get out. Your pores are going to be larger. There's going to be more congestion. And then go put an oil, which, by the way, a lot of coconut oil is comedogenic. It's going to make your skin worse. So I think that oils is very tricky. And to be honest with you, it's not an area that I even delve into, because I feel that, you know, I'm still trying to get their cleansing right. You know, it's like, I don't have that luxury. It's sort of like the same with essential oils. You know, I'm very careful in how I talk about essential oils, because I feel that a lot of people, you know, essential oils are not just oils for the face. They affect your mind, body, and spirit. You know, they really do have an enormous play in how they work on so many different levels. And I think that they're actually they're not respected. You know, I think
I agree.
You know, I've had facials years back with essential oils, and where I've had a headache for 3 days afterwards. I mean, I think that, you know, things have to feel right to you. I think that, you know, oils, things have to smell right to you. You know, and you can't OD on that stuff. You've got to, like, less is better. You've got to be, you know, these essential, they just put too much, they use too much, and it's not great. But I will say that you know, I really haven't, that oil is very tricky too. And I'm so careful with that. And I haven't found, you know, I have used a couple of oil cleansers in my past. My skin type is a combination dry, so I'm not that oily. And I think it's sometimes fun, certainly different times of the year, you know, or where your skin is at, if you're using certain products that make the outer layer, you know, feel a little different. It's fun to be able to explore, and it's always good to have a few different things, you know, like, and I mean, a few different things, like, you know, like I said, I'm using Jordan Samuel's cleanser now and loving it. And,
you know, I tried his retinol. I've been using that the last few nights too, which is an oil, which is funny, but he has primrose oil in there. So that's what made me curious about it.
No, I love retinols with the oils. I have a couple that I work with in the Rejuve line too that I just love, but because they're not as aggressive.
Yes.
You know, and that's where I am going. I'm so happy to use oils, because, you know, in my business and living in this town, it's like, you know, people, they want to see results, and they want to see them quickly. They don't have the downtime of, you know, I can't look crappy for a week, you know, but they want their skin to be really good. And so I have to, you know, I have to be working with actives and things that are really going to help people look their best and be their best. So I think that, you know, that's something, but, you know, like, you know, there's some other things. Come on, Susan, I've heard you say some other things that you don't
I hate makeup wipes. You know, I hate makeup wipes.
Makeup wipes? I was waiting for, I mean, can you believe, what is this? What is up with people in these makeup wipes? I mean, and on the plane. Okay, let's talk about the plane. When we can all get back on a plane again, let's talk about the amount of people that use makeup wipes on a plane.
I cannot handle it, Nerida. You know, it's an influencer trend, which I feel like I'm like part of this industry that has made this such a bad lie, you know, for people to think that they need to pull out a makeup wipe on the airplane and then do their entire skincare routine on the airplane. The only thing I tell people to reapply on an airplane is maybe a lip balm, maybe a moisturizer. If you had already prepped your skin before you got on the airplane, if you need to reapply because it's a 12-hour plus flight, you know, and, you know, maybe I'm trying to think sunscreen if it's daytime and and people have the windows open around you. That's the only thing that I would tell people to put on the airplane. Other than that, I don't know why anybody would think it's a good idea to do their skincare routine on the airplane.
On an airplane, gross. It's so, I mean, it's so dirty. I mean, when I get on a plane, and usually if I'm going home to Australia, 14 hours, I am like, you know, skin all done, like I'm going out in the morning with my makeup on, my sunblock, because, you know, when you're up that high in sun, I mean, you know, it affects your skin still. But I'm full on, and I don't touch it until I get to the other, you know, until I get home.
Yeah, I agree. And people, you know, the thing that I see the most that happens on the airplane, that's like really tragic about it, is it's dry air. It's recycled air on the airplane. And people don't realize that, you know, when they are doing something like cleansing their face on the airplane, their skin is getting drier quicker. And then you see them put on all of these kinds of serums or toners or whatever with HA, or you see them do the face mask. And it's mostly just a hyaluronic acid face mask. And what they don't realize is the hyaluronic acid needs to pull moisture from somewhere, right? Yeah, and so it's usually pulling it from their skin if they're doing it on the airplane. It's not going to pull it from the air because there's no humidity in the air.
Yeah, I think that's really important, you know, like glycerine and a lot, you know, hyaluronic acid, you know, is a humectant, and humectants does draw moisture to itself. And if you are in a dry climate, and I mean, I think we have a lot more humidity here than when I first came to Los Angeles. But you know, if you are living in a dry climate, you know, humectants are not fantastic to use because it is going to pull moisture from somewhere. And if you don't have moisture in the air, it is going to pull it from the inside out. But I think that, you know, it's a really good point what you're saying. I mean, when you're up in the air, and I mean, not the place to be spraying on or, you know, doing a bunch of your humectants, right? So is there any other like little pet peeve? There were some things that I thought.
You wrote down my pet peeves, the Susan pet peeves.
Well, I knew your big one, you know, the wipes, because I'm just like, oh, thank God she's talking about this when I've heard you say it, because, you know, it's such a thing. And I think sort of, you know, when people go to the gym too, they always say, well, you know, I like a wipe when you know, after I work out. And I mean, you know, there are some times where I say, it's okay. I think people touch their face too much. Yeah. I think people over cleanse, like when they're cleansing, let's, you know, as I said, we established what cleansers not to use. Okay. But I think people, you know, they're either over cleansing and doing it too many times throughout a day, or they're just not cleansing right, which is always, you know, often the case at night.
Well, that's the biggest issue with makeup wipes. Yeah, that's the biggest issue with makeup wipes is, you know, the reason because, you know, I used to have makeup wipes in my routine occasionally when I needed to, and I felt like it was necessary, like after the gym or something, or before the gym, to at least get something off, right? But what I started to see a pattern of was people reaching out to me saying that they have tried everything that I have said online, you know, these types of serums, using retinol, but they keep getting so much acne or clogged pores and stuff. And I'd ask them, well, what is your routine? And the first thing they would say to me is, I cleanse my face with makeup wipes. And it's like, you're not.
I know, like I cannot tell you enough. People are going to be so sick of me talking about cleansing. I mean, you know, it's my mission for people to understand, if you are not cleansing right, the rest of your stuff is not going to work the best. You know, it should be working for you really well, right? But if you don't have the right slate to start with, it's a big problem. And people need to count. They need to, you know, when they're cleansing their face at night, it's like, I need people to count. And I say, if you can do 30 seconds, fantastic. And if you're wearing a lot of makeup, you know, you have to cleanse twice at night. You've got to take that first cleanse. You've got to count. You've got to do the circular motions. You got to get under the fine facial hair. You know, you got to clean everywhere. You got to do this. And it's like you have to cleanse. I can't say it enough, but I mean, from whenever people are sending pictures, like I said before, from all over, it's like, you know, they've got issues, they've got congestion, and I zoom in on their photo and I'm just like, I can see they're not cleaning their skin right. And it's like nothing else works if you are not cleaning right. So I'm telling you, people are going to be so sick of me saying it.
Never.
Come the end of this year, they're going
to
be
no,
like,
I got it. I got it. People will, you got to
so
drill it into the heads.
Drill it in, that cleansing. Susan, is there, you know, you've said some of your favorite products that you're really sort of having fun with right now. You know, I know you've got a couple of really small, beautiful children. How are you finding, you know, when you're out, like what are you putting on your kids when you go out? Are you using the same sunscreens that you have there? Like what's your favorite ones for young kids, you know?
Well, for babies, especially, I like to use zinc oxide, any product with zinc oxide. So you know, in my bag, I always keep the Ren clean screen with me, and it's non-nano zinc oxide. It has a slight white cast, but I think it's a great one. You know, people don't realize that zinc oxide is the same thing you're using on babies' little booties when they get a rash. And so, you know, they think that they're not allowed to put sunscreen on their babies because, you know, they're always, you know, you'll hear information saying don't put sunscreen on your babies. And I think there's information about that because they don't want you to put the wrong sunscreen on your baby.
That's right.
But zinc oxide is perfect for your babies, you know, and I always use that.
Now also, you know, it's a great thing for people now having to wear masks. You know, one of my favorites that I've always told people, you know, whenever they get cracked heels, whenever they get, you know, super cracked lips, like dry lips and irritation on the face. I mean, honestly, I mean, zinc is just a great one. I actually send people off to sometimes when they've just got, you know, if they've got a tiny little bit of eczema or something on the eyelids, and you know, I'm not sending them to the doctor yet because we know it's from makeup. I'm having them get that A&D ointment from the pharmacy. You know, it's got to be the ointment, not the lotion. Yeah. And that is one of the best things for, you know, cracked hands right now, all that, the washing, you know, the antibacterial stuff now. It's that A&D ointment, I mean, found in the babies department. I used to use it, you know, it's a nipple. It was great for the nipples when I was pregnant. I mean, you know, going through that whole thing. I mean, it's a lifesaver. Cracked heels, dry, you know, it's such a lifesaver. Just you need a tiny, tiny smidgen of it. It's so healing for that. And for a lot of people that have the ruddiness and the dry, sensitive areas, you know, from just wearing masks. Are you finding you sort of getting any irritation anywhere?
Well, I'm hardly leaving the house. You know, I haven't really had to experience too much. The only place I've gone is to, you know, run like a couple of errands, like maybe dropping off packages or something to send off, that kind of thing. That's the only time I've ever worn a mask. But that's honestly, it's like once a week that I leave the house like that. So I'm getting a little stir crazy, to be honest. I'm fine. No kidding.
That's funny. I know I've got this machine at home I've been using, and I thought, okay, it's motivated me to get another machine to be working out at home. And I'm just, you know, I've got it because I'm not walking around and doing the things that I used to do, and I'm feeling like, oh no, I have to do something here. But I'm really, you know, it's been an interesting time. Very humbling, definitely. You know, interesting time for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is there anything that you would like to, you know, say sort of as we finish up here, you know, anything to our beauties out there, anything in particular that
well, I always tell them that an esthetician, a really good one like you, will change their skin for the better for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. It's great to you know, it's great to be in a business. I always say it's such a privilege to work hands-on with people. Because, you know, it's an extraordinary business to be able to change people, make people, you know, to be able to change their skin and make people, you know, just help them to just see what they have there. That's, I mean, it changes people's lives, and it's, I'm so blessed to have been able to do this for so long. And my darling, thank you so much for
thank you, Nerida,
and sharing some of your fabs with us today that you're enjoying right now in your beauty routine. And it's always so good to see you, and just, you know, to see what you're doing. And you know, you're amazing, and it's you work really hard. And I think a lot of people, you know, it's something, even some of my clients that I've known for many years, you know, and a lot of the actresses that you know, come in, and you know, people always say, oh, they're so lucky and they've got beautiful skin. You know, Susan Yara, she's beautiful skin, and she was, you know, Miss America, you know, right, with, I mean, Miss Mexico, right? You were
New Mexico, yeah.
New Mexico, yes. And but you know, it takes work. You know, it takes work. It's that consistency. It takes work. It's like my clients that you know, are in the public eye all the time. I mean, guys, they work hard to maintain all of that. And people just think that, oh, they're so lucky, or like you, Susan's so lucky. It's work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I know you work really hard to be able to get your information out there to people, and all that you do. And I think you do an amazing job at that. And I'm so grateful to have you as a friend, and that I can call on in, you know, you're a wealth of knowledge. And I'm just so
same. You are. You're one of my favorite people to go to for information.
Yeah, no, it's so great. So I'm so grateful. Thank you for being here with us today. You guys, thank you for, I'm so sorry about, you know, the questions. It's like not, you know, being able to answer all of them, that, or certainly probably none of them that people have been asking, but hopefully we've covered a lot and answered a lot of things for people. So thank you guys for joining us. Susan, thank you so much. And
bye, Nerida.
Another time. Bye all.